Everyone we meet teaches us something. Have you ever paused and asked yourself, why did I meet this person? Why did that stranger hold the door for you? Why did that old friend disappear without a word? Why did someone stay long enough to touch your heart, then walk away? Buddhist wisdom offers us a quiet but powerful truth. Every person you meet is either a mirror, a teacher, or a lesson. In the eyes of the awakened, there are no accidents, only encounters that shape your path. The Buddha once said, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. Now imagine, if we could truly see the hidden meaning behind each person we meet, how much gentler, wiser, and more compassionate would we become? Some people bring laughter. Some bring challenge. Some are here to remind you what love feels like. Others, they come to test your patience, your boundaries, even your faith in yourself. But they all have a place. Not every connection is meant to last, but every soul you meet contributes something to your unfolding story. You're not just bumping into people at random. You're being invited again and again to awaken, to soften, to grow. So today, we begin this journey by asking not, why me, but what am I meant to learn here? Because maybe, just maybe, every person is exactly who your soul needed to meet. People who shine light into our lives. Some people enter your life like sunlight through a window on a cold morning. Warm. Quiet. Unassuming. They don't try to fix you. They don't need your story. They just show up with presence. And somehow, in their calm and simple way, they remind you, you are not alone. Have you ever had someone sit beside you when you were hurting and say nothing, but somehow, that silence held you together? Maybe it was a stranger on a park bench. Maybe a friend who didn't try to give advice, but just stayed. These are the people who embody what the Buddha meant when he said, radiate boundless love toward the entire world. They don't love for gain. They don't help for praise. They give because giving is who they are. And in their presence, something inside us softens. Because they remind us that love is not something we earn. It's something we are. It's easy to forget that, especially in a world so focused on performance, achievement, and status. But when someone shows up with compassion, with warmth, with no expectations, it's like they hold up a mirror. And we remember, this is who we've always been underneath all the fear, all the doubt, all the noise. So if someone like that has ever walked into your life, even just once, take a moment today to be grateful. Not just for them, but for the part of you that could recognize their light. Because that same light lives in you, too. And maybe someone out there is waiting for your quiet kindness, your gentle presence, your unexpected smile. To remind them that love still exists. The people who challenge us. Some people come into our lives like sunshine. They are easy to love, easy to be around. But others feel like storms. They criticize, complain, resist. They trigger something in us, anger, frustration, maybe even deep insecurity. And if we are honest, most of us would rather not deal with them. We might call them toxic, negative, or draining. But what if they are not in the way of our growth? What if they are the way? Buddhist wisdom offers a radical perspective here. The Buddha once said, an enemy can be your best teacher. And though that might sound counterintuitive, it holds a deep truth. These challenging people are like spiritual weights. Just as our muscles grow stronger through resistance, our inner strength is forged through discomfort. Think of someone in your life who tests your patience. Maybe it's a coworker who always finds something wrong. A friend who constantly needs attention. Or a family member who never truly listens. What if, instead of pushing them away, we used each encounter as a chance to practice? To practice calm in the face of chaos. To practice compassion in the face of criticism. To practice non-reactivity in the presence of provocation. These aren't just people. They are invitations. Invitations to deepen your mindfulness. To recognize your patterns. To notice where you get hooked and gently unhook. Personally, I've had moments where someone's behavior stirred up my worst reactions. But looking back, I see those moments as turning points. They revealed the exact places where I still clung to ego, control, or a need for validation. And facing those truths, though uncomfortable, set me free. So next time you feel like someone is too much, try asking, What if this person is showing me something I need to see in myself? It's not about letting others walk over you. It's about seeing with clarity. It's about recognizing that growth often wears uncomfortable disguises. And sometimes the people who challenge us the most leave behind the greatest gifts. Because in the end, every teacher doesn't come with a kind voice and a smile. Some come wrapped in frustration just to show us where we can still expand. The people who come and go. Some people enter our lives so gently we hardly notice the moment they arrive. They fill our hearts. They walk with us, maybe for months, maybe for years. They become our comfort, our story, our home. And then, for reasons we don't always understand, they leave. Through breakup. Through betrayal. Through silence. Through time. And we are left with this ache, this emptiness that feels like something sacred has been taken from us. It's easy to think that this pain is a mistake, that something went wrong. But Buddhist wisdom invites us to look deeper. It reminds us that impermanence is not the enemy. It's the very nature of everything. The Buddha taught, you only lose what you cling to. That line can feel harsh at first. But if we sit with it long enough, it begins to liberate us. Loss hurts, not just because someone left, but because we are still holding on. Holding on to the story, the expectation, the identity we built around that person's presence. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop grasping. I remember hearing the story of a woman who was trapped in a slowly fading relationship. She kept hoping the spark would return, that the connection would revive. But it never did. She held on tighter and tighter until it began to hurt more to stay than to walk away. And it was only when she finally released her grip, with trembling hands and a heavy heart, that peace began to visit her again. Not instantly, but gradually, like sunlight returning after a long winter. The people who leave us don't take away our wholeness. They reveal it. They remind us that we were never meant to possess anything or anyone. We are travelers. So are they. We cross paths. We walk together. And sometimes we part. It doesn't mean their role wasn't real. It doesn't mean the love wasn't true. It simply means the chapter in our book has ended. So if you're grieving someone who's gone, whether physically or emotionally, breathe. You're not broken. You're becoming. This is the teaching of impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing stays. And yet within that truth lies something beautiful, the freedom to love without fear, to give without grasping, to live with an open hand. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is seeing clearly. Letting go is honoring what was while making space for what might be. So today, maybe there's someone you still carry in your heart. Maybe you're waiting for a message that won't come, holding on to a hope that keeps you stuck. Ask yourself gently, is this love, or is this attachment? And would it be kinder to release? Because when we truly let go, we don't lose. We come home to ourselves. The mirror of the self. Sometimes the most difficult person to understand is ourselves. Have you ever noticed that when life feels chaotic, when people around us seem to push all the wrong buttons, the real discomfort doesn't come from them, it comes from within. It's not just about the world we face, it's about the lens we're looking through. And often, that lens is shaped by old wounds, buried fears, unspoken longings. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that every person we meet is a mirror. But perhaps the most honest, and sometimes the harshest, mirror is the one that reflects you. There's a moment in each of our lives when we realize the one who judges us the most, doubts us the loudest, and holds on the tightest isn't someone else. It's our own inner voice. The voice that says, "You should have done more. You're falling behind. You're not enough." We live with it every day. Quiet. Constant. Familiar. But what if that voice isn't the truth? What if it's just a reflection of pain that was never held with compassion? In Buddhist practice, we are taught not just to observe others with mindfulness, but to turn that same presence inward. To watch the patterns of our thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. To ask ourselves, gently, what am I learning from the way I respond to myself? Because here's the truth, the hardest lessons aren't always taught by others. They often emerge when we look directly at our own reflection and don't turn away. It's easy to offer kindness to someone else.